And last time we saw a relationship like one to one to many, and many to many. Correct?
Yeah.
Many to many we saw with an example like groups and users.
Right.
Like we created three different groups like user, admin, and guest, and also we created some of the users and we assigned that groups to the users. So vice versa we did. So that relationship we used to call as a many to many.
Right.
Correct? Okay.
Yep.
And so far what we saw, we are creating one unique ID, either student ID or group ID or cart ID, something like that. We are creating one unique ID. Correct? Student ID or address ID, one unique ID in one row or in one column.
Right.
So next example what I am trying to show you for you, right? So I want to create two columns together as a unique key. Two columns, not one column, not student ID. I want to create a composite key kind of uh, student ID and course ID. Two columns together. I want to create one composite key. So let me write it
Okay.
here. So if you take, so this as a student table. So first column
Yeah.
is student ID.
Yeah.
Student ID, and second column is student name, email, address, and the last one is course ID.
Yeah.
So first column and last column, I don't want to allow the users to enter as a duplicate. It means one student should not register the same course again.
Okay.
So one student can register the one course one time only.
Yes.
So in that case, we need to verify student ID plus course ID together as a composite key.
Right.
So one student can register one course at one time only. So that scenario, how to handle it?
Okay.
Okay, see here. First, let me open the student Java class. So if you see here inside the student, we have a student ID, student name, and student address and course ID.
Right.
So these are the fields, correct? So
Yeah.
when you register the student, these details will be saved into the database.
Right.
Okay, now whatever I told you, right? Like student ID and course ID, I want to make as a one unique key, one or composite key. So how that you are going to configure in your hbm.xml.
Okay.
Close all these things. So this is your hbm.xml, correct?
Right.
So here you will see composite-id. So what is the purpose of this composite ID? So what are the columns you want to combine as a composite key? So that columns we have to keep under composite-id. So I want to keep student ID and course ID as a composite key. So these two columns you can keep under composite key, and you can move out this one. Cut it and paste it, and this is a normal property. This is not a key property. Now if you see under composite key, how many columns are there?
Two.
Student ID and course ID. So basically if you are trying to register one student with same course again, then the record will not be entered into the database. Okay, so this is the only difference, composite-id.
In composite, actually, we can enroll only two or multiple or many.
You can enter n number of columns, but just for testing purpose I added two. You can able to add, there is no boundary, so you can able to add any number of condition, any number of columns.
Okay.
So here as per testing purpose I added two columns.
Right.
And now what I want to do, I want to create the tables, new tables. So what I will do here, I will keep this as a create, and I want to see the query. So I made it this show SQL as a show, and now this is XML, Java, and employee. So now let go to your main class and execute it. So this is your main class. So what is the student ID? 105 student ID, and 210 is a course ID. So I want to register the
Right.
student first time. Okay, let me
Okay.
run it and we will see. So it's successfully registered. Okay, let me go to the database and we will see whether the record is there or not. And the table name is student. See, one student is registered with student ID 105 and course ID as 210.
Right.
Okay, now what I will do, I will make this one as an update. So what will happen? Update means it will not drop the table, it will try to insert the second record. So already one
Okay.
record is there with 105 and 210. Now I am trying to insert second record with the same details. It is correct. Let me so run it. You see the exception. What it's telling? Duplicate entry. Student ID hyphen course ID duplicate entry. 105 210 already is there, correct?
Right.
So that is what it is not telling. What I will do, I will change the course ID 210 to 211 and I will try
Yep.
again. What will happen? We'll see. 210 to 211. And it is success. And now go to this place. See here 105 and 211. We can able to insert. But there is a difference, right? 105 and here 211 and before record having 210.
Yep.
So by using composite key, we can able to insert unique number of records by considering any number of columns. So that is the main purpose of this main composite key.
Right.
This is clear, right? This example.
Yes.
Okay, it's a simple one. So in the next example, what we are going to see here, right? I mean, so far we are inserting the records always, correct?
Yes.
And the next example, what we are going to see is, so how we are going to retrieve the records. How we are going to retrieve the records by using
Okay.
query one way, and the second one is by using the criteria. And when we are retrieving the records, we can able to apply so many conditions. If you want to apply, I want to retrieve only student ID equal to 10 and I want to retrieve only student address equal to this one. So if you want to apply more conditions and if you want to retrieve the data from the database, so that is the next example. And we can able to do it, the retrieval of the records, in two ways. One is by using the query and second one is by using the criteria.
Okay.
So first we'll see the one simple example. So this is the student table. Basically, before retrieving the records, we need to save some records into database, correct?
Yeah.
So for that purpose, what I will do, I will execute the previous example. I mean, I will try to insert some more records into the student table. Okay, let me
Okay.
add into. So Bangalore student ID is 106. Same. Okay, let me insert these records. So 3 records is there. Now 4 records, and let me add some more records.
Okay.
So total 5 records.
Okay.
So now total 5 records is there. So what I will do, I will apply the condition on this table and I will try to retrieve the records. Okay, we have some records for
Right.
testing purpose. Okay, now go to the next example. So basically now the first query is I want to retrieve the records from the student table. I want to retrieve from the student table by considering all the records without applying any condition. Blindly I am trying to retrieve all the records.
Okay.
So how to retrieve that one? So we can use the HQL. So this one, first we have to write a query string HQL equal to from student, as this is optional. So if you want to remove, you can remove it, otherwise you can keep. So from, we have to mention, and from which table you want to retrieve the records. So basically this is not a table name, this is a Pojo class name, Java class name. Okay, this is your
Mm.
query. So basically here simply we are trying to retrieve all the records from the student table without applying any condition. This is a simple example. So after that we have a session, correct? From the session
Yeah.
we have to call this method create query and pass your query, and it will return you a query object, and from the query you can call the list, and it will return you a list of records, and after that you can print that results, so that we can able to
Okay.
see how many records or rows we got from the database, correct?
Right.
And let me see here, there is some error is there. Let me comment out this one, we'll see later. For the first one is a very simple example, just simply we are trying to retrieve records from the database. Now let me run it and we will see. See here, so I can able to retrieve the records. So how many records I retrieved here? Student ID, this is the first record, and the second record, and third record, and fourth record. Sorry, let me copy and paste it. So here we have, so this is the first student, second student, third student, fourth student, and fifth student, correct?
Yep.
Totally we have 5 students, and let me see
Right.
the database. So totally here 5 rows, correct?
Yeah.
We can able to retrieve all the student details, 105, 105, 106, 7, 210,
Okay.
211. So these are the existing records, just without applying any condition, and blindly we are trying to retrieve all the records. And
Yeah.
let me go to the second query. So how to apply some conditions. Okay, let me comment out this one. If you see here, right? So we have a select SQL from student as. So what is this as? Yes, right? So if you want to give some alias name for student, you can give yes. So every
Yeah.
time if you don't want to write student, just write yes. So next time onwards you can refer student as a s,
Yeah.
and you can apply the condition where s dot student id equal to, basically I want to retrieve a particular student records, not all the records, a particular student records. So in that case you can apply the where condition and you can retrieve the details from
Okay.
student as where and student id equal to x. So this x means we are using some dummy variable to pass the student id. So this is the dummy variable name and this is the dummy variable value we are giving here. Set
Yeah.
parameter. They are executing the query and we are getting query, and for the query we are giving one parameter as an input and we are trying to get the list as a results.
Right.
And after that I am trying to print the value. Let me check whether student id 103 is there or not. Student id 103 is not there. Let me give student id equal to 106. 106 with student, how many records is there?
1. No, 2.
2 is there, right? So let me type here 106. Let me run it and we will see how many records we will get it. So how many records we got? Student id equal to 106 and student id equal to 106, correct? Two different students. Sorry,
Right.
student id equal to same, but we got 2 records.
2 records.
So this is one example of how to apply a condition and how to retrieve the data.
Right.
So this is the way to apply the condition and this is the way to set the value for your condition. Okay, now
Right.
so this is one approach, and the second approach is by using the criteria. So here, right, we are writing a query, correct? We are writing a simple kind of
Yep.
query. But by using the second
Right.
approach, we no need to write any query. So here I'm not going to write any query. If you see here criteria, so here first what I want to do, I want to retrieve all the students records without applying any condition.
Okay.
So here session dot create criteria. So here you can pass the student object.
Yep.
So if you call the create criteria and you can pass the Java object and you will get the criteria object. Correct? In the previous case we are getting the query and here we are getting the criteria.
Criteria. So criteria is actually the another features.
Yes, another feature to retrieve the records.
Okay.
So you have a criteria now. From the criteria you can call list.
Yeah.
And you will get a results as the list. And you can print that one. So let me, so that this example is similar one of like the first one. So just we are trying to retrieve all the records without applying any condition.
Right.
So let me run and we will see. So this is the first student, second student, third student, fourth student, and fifth student and sixth student. Total 6 students.
Right. Right.
So here also we are not applying any condition. So blindly we are trying to retrieve all the student details. Okay. And the second example is how to apply the condition by using the criteria. So I want to retrieve the student records by applying some condition.
Okay.
So this is the second example for criteria.
Yeah.
So here write session dot create criteria. So you will get criteria object. So cr dot under cr you have a method called add. So by using this you can able to add any kind of criteria. So how to use this one basically? Cr dot add. So there is a class called restrictions. So what is
Okay.
the purpose of this one? If you want to apply a condition, student address equal to Hyderabad, student address equal to Hyderabad, then restrictions dot equal to the column name and corresponding value.
Okay.
Equal to, what is the condition? Equal to. So if you want to see
Equal
that,
to.
yes, there is so many conditions are available. See here, between, equal, or null, is equal, like, in is not empty. So these are the possible conditions.
Okay.
So you can call any number of condition, and you can give the column name, and you can give the corresponding value.
So when you go for a criteria dot add, and after add there is only restriction or some other condition also there. Suppose you add in first bracket
There is
restriction.
restriction is one way to apply the condition, and there is some other example is
Okay.
there. I'll show you. Add order. When you are
Okay.
retrieving the records, if you want to retrieve the student record, I mean ascending order or descending order of a particular column, then you
Okay.
can go for add order. Instead of add,
Okay.
you can go for add order.
Right.
And based on the, you are selecting add or add order. Based on that, you have to select either restriction or order.
Right.
So this example is for add. Okay, now let
Yeah.
me run it and we will see whether we can able to get the records or not. Student address equal to Hyderabad. So with student address Hyderabad, how many records is there?
Total 6. No, Hyderabad equal to 2.
Two
Should be.
records. Yeah. Oh, it went out. So this is the first student. Student address equal to Hyderabad, correct?
Right.
And the second student is and the student address equal to Hyderabad, correct?
Yep.
This is correct, right? This I mean query is working properly, correct? Criteria.
Right.
And now let me close this one and we will see the second example. The second example is basically I am trying to apply more conditions here. So one is I want to retrieve the students which course ID is equal to 205, one condition.
Okay.
Criteria dot add restrictions, GT means greater than, where course ID is greater than 205.
Okay.
So how many courses is there? When all the course IDs are greater than 205, correct?
Right.
So this condition will satisfy. And the second condition is I am trying to apply as an order condition. Cr dot add order, it should be a descending. So I want to retrieve the student records. Student name must be in a descending order.
Right.
So if you see here, what is the student name? So in this case, all the student name having same name. So you are not able to see the difference. Okay, let me go to the second one, the last condition. Cr dot add order, ascending order of student ID.
Yeah, student ID you can do that.
Student's ID we can able to do it, correct? So it should be in ascending order. Okay, let me run it and we will see how many records we get. It will give all the records as per the conditions.
Right.
So first student ID 105 and next student ID also 105
Right.
and next student ID 106 106 107, correct? So this
Okay.
is in ascending order and we retrieved all the student records. Why? Because
Right.
course ID equal to 205, almost all the student having the course ID is greater than 205.
Right.
So in this way we can able to apply the more conditions and we can able to retrieve the records.
Right.
So this example is clear, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now let me go to some other example.
So, okay, one
Yeah,
thing is that I have a question. The
yeah.
HQL, yeah, I was reading some document. There is HQL, SQL is just like the SQL query or MySQL query, or
It's a little bit different. If you see here in MySQL and all, we have a select star from. You can
yeah.
write here select also, but here it's an optional.
Okay, got it.
And rest of the things
So
are same.
so HQL is actually for the Hibernate.
This is for Hibernate, yes. This is similar kind of
Okay,
SQL, but the little bit difference is here select star from, it's an optional.
okay, got it. So actually, yeah, I was reading documents. So here
Mm,
I saw that HQL and SQL, and that's giving some comment,
yes, yes.
and that's yeah,
And
I got it.
another difference is here, right? So wherever we are mentioning the column names, these are not the DB column names. This is your POJO class field names.
Okay, can you please tell me little bit about the Pojo? Because I read, but
Uh,
I was
So this is
confused.
Java class, right? Whenever we are dealing with the table here, right? So we are not referring the actual table column names. We are referring always the POJO class field names only. Whereas in
Okay,
SQL, right, we used to refer the table column names. But here we are
okay,
referring always the Java, a POJO class field names. This is called POJO class. Means here there is no business logic, right? So here we have a field names and setter getters, correct?
okay, yeah,
So
right.
this we used to call as a POJO class, plain old Java object.
Okay, so that means that there is no condition, no business logic, just the plain object,
Just
whatever
plain
you
object.
written.
Whenever you are apply, just apply the means say it will save the value and it will give back. That's all. So it doesn't have any business logic.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So this is simple Java class and which is having fields and setter getters.
Yeah,
The next example is okay. So far, right, we are trying to retrieve the data only from one table, correct?
right.
Only from student table. Okay, now whatever the example I am going to give you is right. This one to many to many. I think we have already saw this example, right?
Right.
So this is not required. This is something else. It is not required. This many to many we have already saw. The example next what I'm going to tell you is right. So far, right, we are trying to retrieve the data only from one table, correct?
Yep.
Now I'm going to show you another example called so which will having so by using this second time with this current example we are going to retrieve the data from two different tables
Okay.
by using the joins.
Okay.
So that is the main purpose of this current example. So the example, right, we have a two Java classes, student and sorry, employee and address. Okay, let me open the database so that you will understand. First, let me have a look to the database. So how the data is storing, then we will see how we are going to retrieve it. First, let me analyze the data.
Okay.
The first table is select star from employee. So
Okay.
this is an employee table. So how many records is there here? 4 records, correct?
Correct. That's right.
And for each employee having one unique address. So that address we are saving into second table. So this is address table. So what
Yeah.
is the relation between these two tables? So this is employee ID and this is employee name and salary, correct?
Yeah.
sorry. And in second table, if you see here, we have an employee ID
Yes.
and address, zip code, city. So it's a reference key of employee table.
Yeah.
Now what
Join.
I want to do, I want to retrieve the employee details. Whenever I'm trying to retrieve the employee details, employee name and corresponding city.
Right.
So how can I get this one? I need to join these two tables, then only I can able to get the corresponding details, correct? Otherwise I'm not able to get, correct?
Right.
So because we are not saving the data in one table directly, so we are saving the data into different table and we are giving some reference.
Yep.
Here, so this is an example for a joins basically. So how we are going to retrieve the data, I mean if the data is persisting in more than one table.
Okay.
The example, that is the data. I think we know how to save this data, right? I think we saw so many examples like one to one, one to many, many to many, correct?
Yeah.
So now we are going to see how we are going to retrieve the data in this scenario. There is no difference between CFG, employee, HBM, everything is same. And let me, so here mainly we are concentrating on how we are going to retrieve the data. So that is the main simple example. So if you see here, so here we can able to use the create query. The simple example previously whatever we are using, right? So session dot create query from employee table. So here I want to retrieve all the records from the employee table. I want to retrieve all the records from the employee table without applying any condition, and corresponding is their addresses.
Okay.
So I want to retrieve all the employee records and with their corresponding address. So that is my goal. So that's what select star from employee. So inside employee we have an address field. So whenever we are retrieving one employee details, also we have to retrieve corresponding employee address also, correct?
Right.
Now what I will do, I will print the employee ID and employee city.
Okay.
Okay, let me print instead of employee ID, I will print something else. Employee name. I'll print employee name and current employee city. If you see the data, this employee name and employee city is there in two tables, correct?
Right.
Now let me print it and whether I can able to get the details or not. And you will see the generated query. So how the query is generated, how Hibernate is generating the query. See now employee name I can able to retrieve, correct?
Yeah.
And employee city I can able to retrieve it, correct?
Yeah.
Employee name, city, employee name, city. So this is employee details. Okay, let's just have a look about the query, how it got generated. If you see the query, right, so first what it is trying to do, it is select star from employee, correct? So it is
Yeah.
trying to retrieve all the records from the employee table. So including employee ID, first name, email, all those things. After that, what it is trying to do, it is trying to join with employee. So if you see here, left outer join with employee 1.
Okay.
So basically it is trying to retrieve the records by the second, I mean, rest of the queries. Just select star from address, left outer join with employee, and what is the condition? Employee ID equal to 1 2 3 4 5. So that way we can
Yeah.
able to retrieve all the addresses belongs to all the employees. So here,
But
yeah.
okay, one more question is that in the code actually didn't give any left outer join, right outer join, full join.
Yes.
But they're all mentioning the left is actually by default, or
It's not about left. So but that is based on his one. See here, first address table. After that, left outer join employee. So then we are applying the condition on employee ID, correct? So what is the meaning of left outer join, right outer join, right? So here we are giving some condition, employee ID equal to. So what it will do, so if there is no records in address table, so it will try to get the null value. if you mention left outer.
Yeah.
Okay, if you mention right outer, right, if there is no employee details for this employee ID, it will try to get the null value for employee details. That is
Right.
based on your left or right. If you mention simply join, what will happen? If it is matching the records, if the condition is satisfied on both sides, then only it will retrieve the records. That is the difference
Okay.
between left, right, and simply join. If you want to ignore the condition for address table, you mention left outer. If you want to ignore employee details, then mention right outer. If you want to retrieve both the details, then mention simply join without mentioning any outer, left outer, right outer. Just simply join. So
Yeah, no. My question is in the actual code. If you go back to the code, can I see the code?
query side, you no need to mention anything. Why? Because you no need to. Hibernate will generate the query, but how that decision will be taken care, that is based on the employee address relationship.
Okay, so here you have written for employee column employee list. Okay, so from employee table, actually you're getting the all the list,
Correct.
So,
if you open the employee table, inside the employee you have a address.
Yeah.
So that's what you can able to fetch. If you fetch employee, indirectly you are fetching address, correct?
Yeah.
If you are fetching employee details, indirectly you are fetching address details also.
Yeah, got it now.
Okay, now this example is clear. So this is the way we can able to get the data from more than one table.
Right.
Okay, this is clear, right?
Yes.
Okay, now what I want to show you, on a simple example. So far we are writing the programs and we are not testing it, correct? Just we are writing the program,
Right.
but we are not doing any testing and all. So to test our programs, whatever we have written, right? So we have a framework called Junit.
Junit.
You heard about Junit?
Okay. No.
Okay.
Actually, I never looked at that.
Yeah, fine, no problem. I will tell. So this is also very important. So what is the purpose of Junit? So whatever the programs you are writing daily, right? So you need to test from your side, correct? Then you can give it to for testing.
Right.
So that is the main purpose of. So JUnit is for developer purpose. It's not for tester purpose.
Okay.
So developer can able to test his code just by using the JUnit.
Okay.
So that is the main purpose of JUnit theoretically. Now I will show you practically. So how to write JUnits and what is the purpose of, what is the different ways of to test your code. Okay, now.
Right.
So there is a simple class, simple calculator. I think we saw this calculator so many times, correct?
Yeah.
So now what I want to do, I want to test my calculator, whether it's working or not. So how can you say whether it's working, it's working properly or not? So there is a method called add, correct? So you have to give some inputs and you have to check whether the output is coming properly or not, correct?
Right.
So first this is a simple calculator, correct? So
yeah.
Okay, let me write another new project. So this is a simple Java project. So JUnit example.
Right.
So inside that, here what I want to do, I want to write a calculator program. So calculator program, I will not write a simple one, right? So I will copy and I will paste it here. So this is your calculator program.
Okay.
Just simply plain Java class. After that, what I did, I copy pasted the simple calculator program. Okay, this is my calculator program. Now I want to write a separate Java class which will test my calculator.
Okay.
So for that purpose, right? So when I want to write calculator, right click, new. So far, what are the types we are creating? Class, interface, Java project, web application. That one we are selecting, correct? So now we have to select here JUnit. Select here JUnit test case.
Okay.
JUnit test case. So you have to give the some class name.
Right.
Calculator test. So this is my class name. See
Okay.
here, right? If you see when you're selecting, when we selected, I mean, when you select JUnit, what will happen? The super class is JUnit framework test class. Automatically it will come.
Okay.
Just finish it. When you're trying to finish it, it is trying to add some other new library to your project.
Okay.
So it is trying to add some libraries. Just select OK. So that library is for JUnit purpose. So this is your class.
Okay.
Calculator test and extends test case.
Test case, right.
So this test case you got from the JUnit framework.
Right.
Okay, now your test class is ready. So we have to write different methods which will perform the operations to test your calculator program.
Okay.
Okay, now let me write one simple method. Public void test add. Simple method. Oh shit. Public void test. So this is my simple method. So inside this add method, I want to write a test scenario for my calculator.
Okay.
So how we are going to write it? So before that, we need to create a object for calculator, correct?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, let me create an object for calculator. Calculator CLC equal to new. So this is a calculator, and inside this method I want to test the calculator add method.
Okay.
Okay, so before testing, right? So add means what it will do? It will take two numbers and it will give the sum, correct?
Yeah.
So if I'll give inputs as a 5, 5, I can expect output as a 10, correct?
Yes.
So if it will give the proper result, then I can say this is working properly, correct?
Right.
So now what I want to do. So inside test case class, so there is a method called asset equals. So just call that method asset equals. So this method you got from the test case class.
Right.
Okay, so this method will take two inputs. So what is the two inputs, two arguments? What is the first argument? For example, so expected value. So what is the expectation here? If you give 5, 5,
The 10.
10. So these 10 and the second parameter is inputs, correct? So we have to give 5, 5 to your calculator program, correct?
Right.
So call the add method. calc.add, give 5 is the first parameter and 5 is the second parameter, and you are expecting, if this is the inputs and this is the output you are expecting, correct?
Right.
So if you give 5, 5, if you get 10 as output, then what will happen?
Then it will go is fetch the result.
Okay, so if you give 5, 5 input and you are expecting, what is the output?
It should be a 10.
10, correct. So this is the test scenario. So if you execute this one, if you give 5, 5 input for your program, and if it will return 10 as an output, then I can say the add function is working properly, correct?
Right.
And if you give input as a 15, what is your expectation results?
It should be 30.
30. Okay, let me run this program and we will see. So how to run it? Just right click, run as a, it is not a Java program, it is a JUnit test. Select that one.
Okay. Yep.
This configuration, select Eclipse JUnit launcher.
Okay.
See here you can see the green bar, correct?
Yeah.
Expand it. So what is happened here? Test add, it is success. Run one by one, errors 0, failures 0. So your JUnits are success. Now just test it. So instead of 30, can you expect 31? So this is right scenario or wrong scenario?
Wrong scenario.
Okay, let me test it whether it's working or not. We'll see. So what happened here? Failure 1.
Failed.
So what is the reason of failure? Just expand it. Yeah, see here. If you see the failure trace, right? So here you can able to see expected is 31, but was 30.
30, right.
What it means? You are expecting 31, but you got results from your calculator add method is
30.
So this is wrong, correct?
Right.
So that's why this test case got failed.
Yeah.
And let me write another test case for subtract.
Okay.
So here test instead of add, let me add here sub. So I will call here, I will call the method sub. So let me 10 minus 15. What is the expectation results?
Should be -5.
Correct. So this is the second scenario I want to test. Okay, I want to test it. Just right click. Run. See here. Test add. Test subtraction. It is success, correct?
Right.
See, 2 test cases got executed and 1 got failed. Test subtraction. This is correct. 10 minus 15. Yeah. What is the results?
Result is -5.
-5, and it is perfect. If you see here, you see green tick mark.
Okay.
And if you see the test add, so it got failed. Why? Because 15 plus 15 you are trying to add, but you are expecting result as a 31. So that's what the first test case got failed.
Right.
And let me make it true. Now let me run 2 test cases together. The 2 are pass.
Right.
So you can able to test. So if even people are keep on modifying that calculator, then you can always just right click and you can click this way, and so that you can able to test all your scenarios in one shot.
Right.
So and it is not a manual, right? It's kind of automatic, correct?
Right.
And if you want to test multiplication, right, copy and paste and multiplication. So you can write here multiplication and call here mul method. What is the multiplication? Multiply. And so let me add. So 10 into 15. What is the expected results?
Should be 150.
150. Okay, now we have 3 test cases. One is for add, and another is for subtraction, another is for multiply. Okay, let me run it now. Now see how many test cases we ran. 3 by 3. Errors 0.
3 by 3.
Failures 0. Test add success. Test subtraction success. Test multiplication is success. So now your test cases is perfect. Now your test cases is working properly, correct?
Right.
Now go back to the calculator program, means the developed program. Let's modify the logic little bit here. So now here what you are telling, you are doing multiply, but what is the operation you are doing here?
Division.
So this is the logic is wrong, correct?
Yep.
Okay, developer got modified in this way. Now go to your calc program, calculator test, and execute your test cases. What will happen? So how many test cases pass?
Yeah, 2 should be pass.
And
No failure.
which one failed?
Last one should be.
Last one should be failed. Why? Because you are expecting 150 as a results, but it is giving 0 as a results.
Right.
Why? Because the logic is wrong.
Right.
So at any point of time, you can able to test your code instantly without testing, without doing any manual kind of work. So this is the best way to test your code.
Right.
And this is also, it's very important. So if you go for interview, they will ask, so how you tested your code? So are you used any framework or any tool kind of? So you can say I used Junit to test my code. So how you raise the
JD,
JUnit?
JDK actually come. JUnit come with the JDK. Or?
So basically, this
Okay,
will not come as part of your JDK. So you have to download some extra jars. But if you use Eclipse, Eclipse will have that libraries.
Okay, got it.
And if you see here, right? So if you want to see the libraries path, right click, properties, Java build path, libraries. See here JUnit. So these JUnits are part of your Eclipse. See you can able to see here.
Yeah, Eclipse G. Yeah.
Yes, it is not part of JDK. If it is part of JDK means you will see here. C program files under Java. C program files under
Okay,
Java.
library.
So it means JUnit framework is not part of Java, correct?
Right.
So this is part of actional. So if you use Eclipse, you will get from Eclipse. If you are not using Eclipse, then you have to download from internet and you have to add as part of your class path. Like for
Okay, yeah.
like Hibernate, how you added the libraries, right? So in a similar way, so you need to download this jar from internet and you have to add it to your class path.
Okay.
These JUnits are clear, right?
Yep.
Just you can write some programs and you can try to call that method and you can expect these results.
So in the next class, actually, you will show that how Hibernate code is tested with the JUnit, just like this thing.
Yeah, the similar way. I mean, if you want to test Hibernate also in the similar way.
Oh, so that in the Hibernate, actually, I have to go for the class, the manage.some class, the main
You will
class.
get results, correct?
Yeah.
So from main program, you will get the call get results. So you will get list, correct? So that list you have to expect here. What is the list?
Okay. Suppose if you go to the one of the programs, suppose for the Hibernate example. So here actually we have the two Java classes. One is actually suppose student.java maybe,
Correct,
and the next one is manage. So
okay.
which one I should add here?
So here you will get finally results list, correct?
Yeah.
So you will call create query dot list, correct? Query dot list you will call, correct?
Yeah, query dot list. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it will give the list, correct? So in that list you have to check the size of the records. How many employee records should be there? List dot size. So here you can mention the size equal to 5, and here list dot size. If you are getting 5 records, then you can say success.
Okay, if you have time, can you show me tomorrow just one example that?
Yeah, I will show you. I will write the test case in that example itself, so that will make sense for you.
Okay.
Okay, I will write one test case for one of the retrieval query.
Okay.
So that you can ensure your query is working properly.
Right.
Okay, this is not only for JUnit. This is mainly for core Java related programs. These JUnits.
Yeah.
But you can able to test Hibernate also. There is no wrong. You can able to test.
Okay. Yep.
That
you can see, I sometimes developers actually testing their code, and they're also talking about with Junit. So that's actually I will also query why
Yes,
they are
yes,
using the
correct. This is a Junit developer purpose. This is a developer testing purpose.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So now you got to trade some idea what is Junit, how you're going to test your programs.
Right, right.
Okay, as part of next class, and we will see one example how to test Hibernate query. Okay. And
Another, I have a question actually.
hmm,
When I was reading the document actually about the Hibernate, so there is a program file they are using, running the code using the XML or the annotation. So annotation actually I read,
hmm.
but somehow I didn't get inside actually what they are talking.
Or
So
notations
yeah,
also is there, but 80% people will use XML and 20% people
okay, that's
use
fine.
annotations. But I can give that. But if you use the annotations, right, you will not get the idea.
Yeah, just now I am just asking that actually, you if you tomorrow class just give me one, just and give a brief one to
Yeah, I
me
will give one
description.
example first, right? But if you okay, if you learn the annotation, what will happen? You will not. I mean, get the flow. It's
Okay,
very
got it. Yeah,
easy,
I'm
but you
sure.
will not get the flow. If you start directly
Yeah,
with
okay.
annotations, you will not get the flow.
Okay, yeah, actually, I just asking question because when
Mm,
I'm reading the document, every
mm.
time they mention the annotation. So, it's not a dictionary that I just see the
Yeah,
meaning and then.
I can give one example so that you can able to understand all the examples from the internet. But
Okay,
don't
yeah,
go for don't read directly annotations.
okay, yeah,
Try
I'm
to read
skipping it.
XMLs. You will get a good concept. Then after that, you can read the annotations.
Okay, yeah.
So what will happen if you will read, you will not understand the flow. What is the how the table will interact with Java, how the table columns are mapping and all. Okay.
Yeah.
So next example, as part of next class, I will give one example. Annotations.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for
annotations
letting me
one,
know.
and this testing also I'll give one example.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. Yeah,
Thank you.
fine. Thanks. No problem. Yeah.